morning. Today is May 16th, 2024. I'm going to call to order the Cuyahoga County Equity Commission. My name is David Merriman. I'm the Chair and Director of Health and Human Services. I'm going to begin with the roll call. Turn to my left, representing the Office of Human Resources, Sarah Namasil.
Good morning.
At the end of the table, we have representing the Department of Economic Development, Vaughn Johnson.
Present.
Across the table is Jill Smilak, representing Public Safety and Justice Affairs.
Good morning, present.
And then Lenora Lockett sitting next to me, representing her office.
Good morning.
Great. We'll begin with a review and approval of the minutes. The minutes have been distributed and posted. Are there any amendments to the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
The minutes have been moved for approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. Public comment. Has anyone signed in for public comment? Don't believe there is. Anyone here wishing to do public comment? Great. Well, we're going to move on then. We're going to begin with opening remarks. So I'll start with Jill. She's sitting across the table. Jill, why don't you jump in?
Sorry, it was a full house when I came in this morning. So, good morning. Thank you. Public Safety and Justice Services has a couple of things that are coming along really nicely. One is a little piece of a program that I've talked about before, which is our local assistance for local match for federal funding, which is the Assistance for Firefighters Grants, AFG. So AFG is federal funding. Many communities in Cuyahoga County apply for that funding for various equipment for their fire departments, and they're required to come up with a local match. We at the county have traditionally assisted communities with the local match. It was a little bit unsure whether we would have that money this year, but we were really happy that we were able to announce to fire chiefs several weeks ago that we do have that money this year. And one of the things that we're taking into consideration when determining which communities we will accept for providing that assistance, we're looking at the communities that are specifically within the previously identified DEI, the equity zone communities. So we are taking into consideration that we want to make sure to invest in communities that were traditionally left behind. So that's one thing that I think is a really good step in the right direction. We also completed at the beginning of the year, actually, what we're calling our Critical Unmet Needs Plan, which is through our Office of Emergency Management, which is our division that assists communities when they're dealing with an emergency, a public safety emergency. This plan came out of something that happened last summer, which was a large fire in East Cleveland. It was a large apartment building that had to be completely evacuated for several months. The folks who were living in that apartment building were people who were struggling with mental illness, substance use, and other sort of high-need social service type situations. So when they were moved out of their housing facility, a lot of that safety net no longer existed for them, or it had to change because they didn't have the same access to transportation, they didn't have the same access to their social service agencies that they could previously walk to or get a ride to, and they lost their neighborhood, which is just a really safe place for a lot of people. So we worked really hard last summer to try to meet the needs of all of those individuals throughout the summer. And we came together at the end of last year and beginning of this year to come up with what we're calling the Critical Unmet Needs Plan, so that if something like that happens again, we have a specific supplemental plan that will ensure that the Adams Board is engaged and ready to help get some services in place, or HHS or others. So that's something that we're really happy about and really proud to have rolled out. And the final thing is just a program that is called Equity in Action. Equity and Advocacy is what it's called. So that is a program that has been going on. It's about halfway through a 10-week course. It's every Friday from 10 a.m. to 12. And it is specifically for victim advocates or people who work with victims of crime. And each week is a different topic area intersectionality between race and gender, or sexual identity, or gender identity, sexual orientation, excuse me, and just how those different components of someone's identity may impact their personhood, and especially their personhood as a victim of crime. So it's a good way for our victim advocates to learn different ways to relate to people, to tailor their practice to make sure that they're being inclusive and responsive to the needs of all of the people that we come into contact with. So those are three major things going on right now.
Great. Any questions for Jill? Vaughn, I understand you have some items that you're going to present on the agenda, but beyond that, anything else you'd want to share with the commission?
I do, and thank you so much. I wanted to take an opportunity to talk about how one of the ways that the Department of Development supports equity, and I've asked our three new fellows to join us briefly in this meeting and talk about, maybe introduce themselves, where they're from, and what they're actually doing at Cuyahoga County. So, Sona, would you please do us the honor of going first?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Sona. Thank you for hosting us. I'm from Armenia, from Vanadzor City. It's the third largest city of Armenia. Currently, I'm working in the municipality of City Vanadzor at the Department of Foreign Affairs Developing Programs and IT, especially specialized at the Department of the Community, the investment programs, the subventions, foreign affairs with our international international organizations, local organizations, as well as with partner cities and sister cities. Now here I am placed at the Department of Development, and I had several meetings with sustainability team, with housing team, and I guess this fellowship will be very productive for me. And I would like to highlight that the program is founded by Department of State. It's the Professional Fellows Program. So nice to see you all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Martin. I'm French and I'm from John Carroll University. I'm in the loan department for the opportunity.
Hello everyone, my name is Raphael, as well from France and John Carroll as well. So I will mainly working with Laura Sims, so helping her with some tasks, and as well bringing other departments to help other people. Thank you everyone.
And Jacob is, he wasn't in, were you a fellow before?
Originally.
And now he is an intern. He is the Economic Development Analyst intern in the Department of Development. And Jacob leads a number of our initiatives that I want to talk about. We have several initiatives that deal with supporting MBEs and attending and participating in entrepreneurial events, such as the Harvard Community Center event that was part of the Central Surge Initiative. Jacob attended the Greater Cleveland Partnership Cozy Construction Utilities Building and Equity event, what they call it the CUBE Symposium. I was also at the Turner Construction Management School working with MBE contractors and suppliers, talking to them about how the county can support them in their business and growing their business. And then upcoming, we have an event that we're going to be we're going to have a resource table that is put on by Congresswoman Shontel Brown. It's her Small Business Expo, and we'll be participating in that as well. We've continued our work and our efforts in supporting MBE developers. As I've shared many times, I think in the last meeting that we had, Kwame Botchway from Village Capital Corporation shared with this group, this committee, about the work that they're doing in supporting MBE developers, and the county continues to partner with them on that. And Jacob, in his work, he continues to reach out to the stimulus grant winners, the pitch day event participants, as well as the most recent one that Director Lockett's department has put together, and he follows up with them on products, not just products, but services, initiatives that the county can assist with. And then we also have, the last time I was here, I mentioned that we had a small business supports RFQ that went out. Since then, the awardees have been made, And at that time, I mentioned that we had $3 million that were going to be spread out over 2 years for this competitive RFQ. And I'm happy to say we have an additional $1 million that's been put to that. So now it's going to be $4 million that'll go out to these organizations so they can continue their missions and supporting MDEs. So I just wanted to give an update on that and some of the other things that we've been doing since the last time we met.
Great. Are there any questions for Vaughn? Hearing none. Sarah?
Good morning, Sarah Nemesil, County's Director of Human Resources, Chief HR Officer. In terms of our DE&I initiatives for 2024, HR is in the process of procuring text analyzer software, and I know I've talked about it at some of the prior meetings. But this software will help us, it will review our job postings and position descriptions, the language used, and help us make sure that we are using inclusive language that's free of bias, that's readable, doesn't have unnecessary minimum qualifications, those types of things, to help make sure that we are not discouraging diverse applicants from applying. The RFP was released yesterday. So we're excited about that. HR plans to use the software as well as our Personnel Review Commission and potentially the Department of Equity and Inclusion as well. This will also be helpful to us in terms of our talent acquisition goals for 2024 as we work together with the departments to establish recruitment plans to make sure that we are recruiting diverse applicants effectively. We also are continuing to work with a consultant who is conducting a pay equity study to identify and provide recommendations regarding peer equity issues and compression amongst all of our non-bargaining employees. When that study is completed, we also plan to work with a consultant to reestablish the county's compensation policy as well as our philosophy moving forward to make sure that we are fair, equitable, and transparent in determining pay. We're also pleased to report the rollout of our civil treatment training program, which is a program that provides methods for leaders and employees to prevent, work together, and correct unprofessional or uncivil behavior in the workplace. The county hasn't done this kind of training for several years, so we're really excited about that. We've rolled out the training to employees within our HR department and currently to supervisors, managers, and other members of leadership. We expect to make the training available to non-supervisor employees probably around the third quarter. But it's very important, I think, that we complete this training as part of a successful implementation of the county's equity initiatives and diversity initiatives, because if we don't have that foundational level of civility and respect, it'll be very hard to advance in the DEI area. So we're excited about that. We plan to continue to work strategically with Director Lockett and her team, Clerk Bird, and the Citizens Advisory Commission on Equity and other county stakeholders, including our Advisory Committee on Persons with Disabilities. We've been establishing a relationship with that committee in order to maximize our DEI efforts this year. And with me today is my dear colleague, Kimberly Coleman, who is the chair of HR's Internal Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and she will provide an update on the good work the committee is doing.
Good morning. Thank you, Sarah. So our HR DEI committee continues to be hard at work. We are constantly working to have a presence within the community by attending all events that help promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace and partnering with community organizations. Most recently, our group attended a DEI leadership panel that was sponsored by the Cleveland chapter of the Society of Human Resource Management. We had a panel discussion that was led by diversity champions from Metro Hospital, the Cleveland Orchestra, as well as the Jack Casino. These events give our team the ability to network with fellow HR and DEI practitioners and allow us to collaborate so we can always bring the best practices and leadership goals back here to Cuyahoga County to help support our employees. And also, we're still very excited about our panel discussion series that we've titled Can We Talk? Most recently in April, we had the pleasure of Director Lockett collaborating with us, her and her department, on a panel discussion called Dispelling the Myths of the Demise of DEI. Our panel included our Chief of Staff, Eric Janis, and they led an enlightening discussion that spotlighted all the positive and impactful effects that DEI continues to have within our workplace. We sort of dispelled the myths that you see all across the media, how DEI does not work or DEI is being disbanded at this organization and that organization. So we think our champions of diversity, equity, and inclusion, our panelists, as well as our moderators, help us dispel those myths so we can assure our employees that DEI is working here and it's very important to our culture, and we will continue to work to make Cuyahoga a better place to work. And stay tuned for our next event coming up in June. Our panel is planning to discuss and celebrate Pride Month, so more details to come. Thank you.
Great, I'll go next. A few updates on contracts as well as illustration of services. So wanted to share that on Tuesday, County Council appropriated funding from the county's social impact fund to a program that we're managing where we are contracting with a national nonprofit to help Ohio National Guardsmen get into college or a training program, stay in college or a training program, and complete a college or training program. And unlike other workforce initiatives, we are funding the outcomes. We are not funding the services. So the organization that is serving these individuals provides coaching to existing guardsmen to help them better utilize the scholarships that they have available to them and identify a program that meets their professional needs and stay engaged with that program. We're excited about this project. We consider it a pilot that we're trying to establish the justification for a statewide initiative. And one of the components of it was a recognition that Black guardsmen perform at a lower level in terms of college entry, college matriculation, and degree attainment. So we are actually paying a priority payment to have guardsmen that are minorities complete those outcomes. We haven't gotten the report yet as to how many from any group have actually achieved any of the payment points. But I think this will be the first time that we've actually done a performance-based payment based upon recognizing a disparity of outcomes. Very excited about it. We'll see how it goes. I think there'll be some coverage, and actually next month there'll be a presentation on this project at County Council's Health and Human Service and Aging Committee. It's an exciting project. We are looking forward to seeing it grow and progress. Second thing I just wanted to share, we've recently closed a very sensitive procurement for our providers that offer high-quality universal pre-kindergarten services, or UPK. And this is one of the top priorities of the county to fund early childhood education that goes beyond minimum expectations. The key is quality. And over 120 organizations applied, and unfortunately we're not going to have funding to serve them all, partially because we've made decisions to actually offer higher payments to our providers now so that they can increase the wages that they offer to early childhood educators. We've seen over the past couple years that the staff that serve families in these early childhood education centers tend to be very low paid. These low wages have made the positions unattractive, and in many cases are requiring families to, potentially work multiple jobs to make ends meet. So the Office of Early Childhood has made the decision to increase the amount of reimbursement or the amount of scholarships they offer to address a workforce issue that really is heavily focused on women, many of whom are minorities, and many of whom live in high poverty communities. So we see this as an exciting investment because it will increase the wages and it will increase the career opportunities for these residents. It will come at the cost of some capacity, but we think that's a trade-off worth making if our investment is in quality and ensuring that the services are hiring the best people to provide education. Next, I'd like to share that our Welcome Center continues to grow. There's an event today, a navigation a newcomers event. And today's event is targeting Spanish-speaking residents that are having a difficult time accessing public assistance benefits. So representatives from our public assistance agency, as well as housing, workforce, education, and many other social service providers are coming together, having a fair for these residents and offering them, in essence, a service to meet their need regardless of who they are and regardless of any ability to pay. These newcomer events have been very successful. In its first year, they served over 1,000 residents. And they're also bringing these visitors into our Welcome Center that offers services 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, helping them learn that this is, they don't have to wait for an annual event to come forward and get services. They can come at any time, and there are services available to them. So that's going on today. We're very excited about it and looking forward to seeing how many individuals can get assistance as well as jobs, housing, and education. The last thing I wanted to end on, I think at times in the past we've talked a bit about the placement crisis and how that's affected our programs and services, especially with our ability to serve young adults. And our primary response to this placement crisis has been to create a shelter and service partnership with a local organization so that children awaiting placement aren't waiting in our office building. And this week I learned that one of the children that was had a prolonged stay in our office building and was moved to this placement center, we call it T-Suites. It was eventually reunified with her family, which is a great outcome. So this is someone who was waiting in our building, and frankly, she had tried to commit suicide multiple times. And we at one point had to stop a suicide, provided her treatment, provided her support, got her stabilized, got her reunified, and then this week we learned that she had gone to prom. And so, generally speaking, we talk about our services in these grand scales. We talk about the bureaucracy that we're trying to confront. We address, barriers from our providers and hopefully lift up goals for our services. Rarely do we get to hear about someone who came in really a difficult situation and who I think got the services that they needed, found stability, and as we like to say, youth get to experience 17 summers. That's it. You get 17 summers as a youth, and a lot of us take that for granted. We shouldn't, and we should make sure that our services are quality, they meet people's needs, and then after they are provided, our residents are better off than they were before. And I think in this case, we know that that was the case. So I want to point out that that's the work of our Department of Children and Family Services, and what a great work they're doing. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Lenora. Any updates?
Thank you, David. And first I want to say it's always inspiring to hear from each of you how you're working within your individual department mandates to make sure we're continuing to embed diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I think that's always inspiring to me to hear those different ways that you're looking at your operations, but having a similar equity lens. I'll give a couple of updates since our last meeting. I want to thank all of you who have participated and supported DEI events. We had the annual kickoff of our What's Next program in March that focused on increasing awareness about the efforts that the counties, departments, and agencies have done the previous year and what they plan to do the upcoming year, focused on the content of the annual equity report. In April, we followed it up with partnerships with, as Vaughn mentioned, development, various departments with the vendor fair. It was the first of 3 that's planned this year. So we had that one in April. The next one will occur in July, and the final one for this year will occur in October. So again, please keep the word, spread the word about the vendor fair that'll be coming up in July. It's an opportunity for vendors to come and get face-to-face personal assistance with registering an enforce system, learning about what the county plans to purchase. If they feel that they're qualified as a small business, a minority business, a women's business, they can get assistance from the DEI staff on that certification. They can update their registration to enforce. So it's a great opportunity to get face-to-face assistance for vendors. So please spread the word on that. The next one is in July. have, in April, we also did a Kaizen event. Again, as part of the, our plan is to continue to embed equity into our operations. So as part of the Kaizen event, which is an intense review and out-of-the-box concentrated review and a process of workflow to take out waste and look at ways to make it more efficient. We also use that as an opportunity to look at how to improve the equity component of that process. Again, we had the support of several departments that help look at that process. We all do a purchase at one point, some of us more than others, so it's good to have that buy-in. This month, today, the second half of today, the departments again have committed. We have more than 80 county personnel that will be participating in the Tri-C Community Action Poverty Simulation. Again, it's implementers of policies and programs, some of them mandated, some of them are principles and values. We're always on the side of implementing and implementing policies, developing policies and procedures. This will give us the opportunity to be on the other side and maybe see, are we having the impact, or if there's ways that we can take away from that simulation that we can, again, further enhance the experience that's provided to our customers as part of our process. And then June, we'll follow up with our annual mid-year equity summit. Last year, the summit was in person. This year, the summit will be virtual. It still will be a couple of hours one morning, but we're looking at it as a more intense workshop, and that we can invite more leadership. And we're looking at a workshop to revisit our DEI scorecard. So this is an opportunity where we can get input from various departments' leadership on what are our strategies that each of us in our areas can, as unified, implement this year and ongoing. And it's regardless how small you are, how often you purchase, or what programs you implement. This is an opportunity to review how we can be on this common accord in certain areas on what actions we'll take.
Wonderful.
That completes my update.
Any questions for Lenore? I didn't stop and ask if any had questions for me as well. I also want to apologize. I stepped out. That was a county council person who was calling me to ask about the welcome event. And they were trying to get details on it. And so I wanted to make sure they knew that it was open to the public. Appreciate council support and their participation. So unless there are other questions, just going to close this section. We're going to move on to the next item in the agenda, and that's going to be on a report out on the Cuyahoga County Office of Small Businesses. So assuming that's...
Thanks. Thanks, David. This is something I'm really excited about. The County Executive, Chris Ronayne, announced the formation of the Office of Small Business in April of 2023. So for a year, my team and I have been working behind the scenes to create this new Office of Small Business. And I just wanted to take a moment to share with you what it actually is, what it does, how we help the businesses of Cuyahoga County. Again, the two things I want to talk about, the Office of Small Business and how Cuyahoga County supports businesses through our capital partners. I kind of alluded to this earlier in my opening remarks. From the year 2022, 23 and 24, and 25 and 26, Cuyahoga County has granted, it's now $8 million in 2 RFQs for organizations that support small businesses through a competitive process, obviously. And then again, $2 million in direct assistance to minority businesses through the stimulus grant. So what is the Office of Small Business? So whether you're trying to get started, you're growing your business, you need financial support, whatever it is, winning contracts is a really huge one that businesses have told us. The Office of Small Business is here. Why was the Office of Small Business created? What is it here for? It's really simple. To make it easier for businesses to access funding, resources, and whatever else they need, social capital to grow their businesses. The Office of Small Business is a one-stop shop for everything small business, all small businesses, It serves as a connector and a hub for small business resources throughout the ecosystem. It also will assist with navigating the internal departments and resources of the county. We're also going to be there to be a champion and an advocate for small businesses, and also listen and learn about what new products, programs, and initiatives that we could be doing internally, as well as sharing that information with our partners and learning from our partners what it is that they do. The county receives just a flood of calls throughout the year from small businesses that are either in the ideation phase, or they're looking to grow, they're looking for resources, and many times, because they're not sure what to do, they would call the county for assistance. And that influx of calls and information has helped us to shape and form the Office of Small Business. So to a small business owner, this is just some of the partners and capital partners that we work with. To a small business owner, this can be really complex, really confusing. They're not sure which organization can help them the best. They're not sure which organization offers what services, what programs. And again, this is just part of it. And as my colleague Shoshana Duckworth can tell you, there are many, many more organizations than this that actually support small businesses. So this diagram kind of talks about, illustrates some of the confusion in the marketplace. You have a small business, they need assistance, they're not exactly sure where to go, what services these organizations offer, if there's a fee involved, if there's not, they heard about a program, does it still exist? How can we assist them navigate this vast landscape? So in comes the Office of Small Business. So now a business owner, a small business owner, can call one number, there's one website, there's one landing page, there's one QR code, there's one email address, one phone number they can call. And because we have relationships with all of those organizations and many, many others that are not even listed, those business owners reach out to us, and then we actually consult with that business owner to really understand their business, understand what they're trying to do, what stage they're in, what type of business it is, what products or services that they actually sell. Then we, after that consultation, can actually make a warm handoff and introduction to the most applicable organization that can serve that business. And what I love about one of the things that we do, even after we make this warm introduction, we're always going to be there. So even if we make a warm introduction to the Urban League of Greater Cleveland and the Minority Business Assistance Center, and the business owner said, hey, I had a great relationship with Shoshana, we're looking to do something else, can you introduce us to somebody else? All they have to do is reach back out to us, and we'll continue to do that over the life of their business. So we're never going to go away. We're always going to be there for the life of that business owner. As long as they want us to be there, we'll actually be there. Some of the things that, this is a clip from our landing page, and as I mentioned earlier, some of the things that we can help businesses with. If you wake up in the morning and you have an idea for a business, you're not sure where to start. Maybe you've been in business for a year or so, you're a brand new startup, we can assist you with that. If you're in a growth phase, if you're looking to scale, if you're looking for an acquisition, if you're looking for collaborations, you want to grow your business, we can assist with that. Access to capital is a very, very huge component to this. Not only do we have relationships with organizations that provide various level of funding, microloans and others, we have relationships with traditional lenders as well that we can assist with. And then another major one is procurement and contracting. When I was doing the presentation at the Turner School of Construction Management, every business that was there talked about, we need help. The help that we need in growing is securing more contracts. We need to know where those contracts are, who has those contracts, what are the requirements for it, how do I unravel an RFP or an RFQ? I've never really done that before. Can someone assist us? And the answer to all of those things is yes. Contact the Office of Small Business, because we have relationships with organizations that can assist in all of those areas, including walking them through the process if they want to do business with Cuyahoga County. We can make warm handoffs and introductions in that space as well. That is the clip. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch it. There's a viral video going on YouTube and other places. David, you must have watched it. I see you smiling. If you watch it, I'm telling you, it's infectious. You'll want to put it on all your social media posts. You can take a look at that video and it'll explain in more detail about the Office of Small Business. And what I really love about it is there's this really cool guy in it that's in the video, but there's also 3 small businesses that the county has actually assisted in helping their businesses grow. And they talk about how the county has helped them with their business. And there is some contact information and our brand new QR code, courtesy of, I believe, our communications department and IT. So a business can take a shot of that QR code. It'll take you right to the landing page for the Office of Small Business. You can access an intake form. We get that intake form and we'll immediately reach out to you and set up a time to meet with you and talk about your business. So that is the Office of Small Business.
Pause. Let's see if are there any questions for Vaughn?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The video was great.
Vaughn, is the intake form, is there a common intake form, or do each of these intake forms lead to another system, or how do you manage the flow and engagement with the public?
That is a great question, David. Thank you for that. So it is a common intake form.
Right.
That it only asks a few questions. It has a few fields: name, address, name of your business, phone number, email address. There's a box at the bottom that asks about what type of assistance that you need. And then when they hit submit, there are 3 people within the Office of Small Business that intake form goes to. And there's a lead person that actually is the first one that reaches out. If they're not available, then it kind of goes down the tree that way. And the first contact that we want to have is a conversation. We need to better understand what kind of business you're in, what it is that you do, how we can help, what are you looking for, so we can either help you navigate the internal departments of the county or either that external landscape.
Great.
Thank you. Please.
When prospective vendors submit that intake form, what kind of turnaround time can they expect to have someone reach out from your department?
Another great question. We strive to have those intake forms, some type of communication return within 24 hours. We strive for that. That is our goal within 24 hours. You're welcome. Questions? Yes, sir.
I just want to share, and Vaughn could attest to this, that there is an infectious level of excitement amongst the small businesses we've already had the opportunity to speak to. We have both been able to sit and meet with small businesses that have directly spoken to us and said, we haven't been able to get a hold of anybody yet. The fact that you guys get a hold of us and then turn it around in such a quick manner of time is such a relief for us to experience. So I'm really excited for us to keep working on this and just keep bringing businesses ample opportunities to the next steps.
Thank you for that. And I also wanted to mention, when we launched, when Communications and Kelly and her team actually launched the video and the press release for the Office of Small Business, which was on May, the last day of National Small Business Week on May the 3rd, literally 11 minutes after it was launched, we got our first business inquiry on the intake form. 11 minutes.
Wow.
I don't know who saw it first or where it was, but literally 11 minutes after that, we got our first inquiry, and it's been a steady stream of them ever since then. So we're very, very excited, and we have yet to actually do some promotion and marketing around it, which we're working with Kelly and her team to actually do that. So we expect to have more and more businesses reaching out to us for assistance. That's what we wanted.
If there's no other questions, we're going to move on in the agenda. I think our next item is also from Vaughn. This is a report on the Minority Business Assistance Center.
Thank you. So it is my pleasure, my esteemed pleasure, to introduce Shoshana Duckworth. She is the director of the Minority Business Assistance Center at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. If you don't know who Shoshana is, I suggest you pick up Crain's or Cleveland.com or something like that, because she's in it. She was listed as one of Crain's 40 under 40. She is an iconic individual in the space of small business. entrepreneurship. I know she works very closely with the folks at the Urban League, and Shoshana knows about how vast this network of providers are. So one of the things that I wanted to do with the commission, instead of me always talking about how the resources the county provides to our capital partners, I thought I would continue in this theme of actually having one of our capital partners come in and talk to the committee about how those dollars are being leveraged and some of the outcomes and some of the great work that the Urban League is doing through their Entrepreneurship Center. Shoshana, I don't want to steal your thunder, but just briefly, the Entrepreneurship Center, I believe, has 3 components. One of them is UBiz Venture Capital, kind of the lending arm. Then there's an SBDC office, and then there's a Minority Business Assistance Center. And Shoshana is the director of that, has been doing an amazing job there. So Shoshana, I'll turn it over to you at this point so you can talk to us about what's been going on over at MBAC.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Vaughn. I appreciate all of those kind words, and thank each and every last one of you for allowing me to discuss our programs and services with you. I have a slideshow. All right, programs and services. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. All right, so as Vaughn mentioned, I represent the Minority Business Assistance Center at Urban League of Greater Cleveland. We are a regional office. We cover 8 counties, of course, one of them, and our largest county being Cuyahoga County. But within the Entrepreneurship Center, those 3, within the Entrepreneurship Center, those 3 centers include the Small Business Development Center, also known as SBDC. Okay, it is a program that is funded by the SBA, but through the state of Ohio, and they're there for businesses in that ideation phase through growth and development, whether it's a business plan, marketing plan, projection, strategic plan, whatever a business need from that ideation phase through growth and development. Our Small Business Development Center is there to assist. Only in Cuyahoga County, though. We do have multiple small business development centers here in Cuyahoga County. We have 2 other ones, one at the Hispanic Business Chamber and then one at Cleveland State as well. The next one, as Vaughn also mentioned, is UBiz Venture Capital. UBiz Venture Capital was started for us to be able to offer a strategic and innovative funding program to the clients that we serve. We saw so many times where our clients were coming in and they were unable to access capital for numerous different reasons. With our program, we're able to offer them capital, but we're also able to tailor it to whatever their specific need is. So everything is handled in-house. No one can apply who aren't a client. Everyone has to come through and have a business advisor, work with that business advisor, receive technical assistance, and then that business advisor has to refer them over to UBiz and say, hey, you know what, this business is ready for capital, this is where they are, and this is what they need capital for. They're coachable, they're ready, let's get them some capital. We do not deny anyone for our loan program. What we do is give them a not ready. And what happens is that business advisor works with them and get them ready. So if that underwriter review that file and that client is not ready for capital, then what they do is give them a list of items that they need to do with that business advisor to get them ready and then bring them back to the table. And then the Minority Business Assistance Center, as I mentioned, I am the regional director of the Minority Business Assistance Center. Next slide. I'm going to dig deeper into the Minority Business Assistance Center. So the Minority Business Assistance Center stands on 4 pillars. Number 1, technical assistance. So we are there to assist with business plans as well, capability statements, marketing plans, strategic plans. Again, whatever a business need, we have certified business advisors there to assist. Our business advisors go through a rigorous program at Kent State University to receive their CBA, also known as Certified Business Advisor. Number 2 is access to capital. Okay, I mentioned that we have UBiz Venture Capital at Urban League of Greater Cleveland to assist businesses with accessing capital, but we don't just refer them to UBiz. The first thing that the business advisor do, and the main reason why they have to meet with that business advisor first, is because that business advisor has to determine what's the best program for them. So after doing analysis of that business, reviewing their financials, reviewing their operational structure, reviewing their need, then the business advisor says, you know what, UBiz is a great fit for you. Or no, you know what, the county has these great programs. Or you know what, Cleveland has this NREP program. Let's put you in front of that. ECDI will be the best fit for you. You know, whatever that business need, whatever is the best program for that business, that's what we put them in front of, especially when it comes to access to capital. Number 3, business certifications. Okay, I'm going to dig more into business certifications after this slide, but we assist businesses with state-level certifications, but we also partner with Apex Accelerator to assist with federal certifications, and then also partnering with our municipalities to assist with that city-level certification. But at our office, we process state-level certifications and work as their liaison, work as their partner to make sure if they don't have any questions, make sure that all their documents are getting turned in and that they're not running into any issues or delays with the certification process. We have a certification specialist, and that's all she does. She works on certifications. She sit with the businesses one-on-one, go through the checklist, let them know the documents that are needed, explain all the documents, assist them with gathering the documents, getting them into the system, and then sending it in directly to our processors in Columbus, and then being that point of contact for that business with our processors in Columbus. And then number 4 is contract procurement. Okay, as Vaughn mentioned, our businesses need contracts. They need these procurement opportunities to grow and scale, and that's the only way we're going to get these minority businesses to scale. Next slide. Here are the certifications that we assist with on a state level. MBE, also known as the Minority Business Enterprise Certification. For this certification, you have to be for-profit, and then it shows the minority groups right there. One thing that I want to mention with certifications, because sometimes people, they say, you know what, I've been in business 5 years and I'm ready to get certified, okay? The requirement for certification is 1 year, but it's not just open, it's open and operating, okay? Just because someone filed the LLC, that doesn't mean they qualify for certification. So that's also something that we work with businesses with. We start off working with them if the business is not ready for certification, or if they have just received their LLC or they're under a year old. Usually they're with SBDC. We only service clients that are at least a year old. And then once those clients with SBDC are over a year old or they're ready for certification, then they come over to us for us to assist them with certification. WBE, for our women-owned businesses, the businesses have to be controlled and operated by a woman at least 51%. And then EDGE, which is encouraging diversity, growth, and equity. Most businesses that qualify for MBE qualify for EDGE unless there are concerns with the net worth. The net worth can exceed $750,000, excluding your personal residence. And then our VBE is for our friendly veterans. Next slide. So as we know, business certification is very, very, very important, as I said, to the scalability of our minority businesses, because we know that it allows them to access those contracts. It gives them that increased revenue, financial and bonding assistance, and then also provides that competitive advantage. Next slide. So the state of Ohio actually implemented a few new loan programs. A couple of them I'm really excited about is our Women Business Enterprise Loan Program, and then our Ohio Micro Loan Program. Our WBE loan program is for certified businesses. They have to, originally we were able to get businesses certified or expedited and get them to apply for the capital if they need it, but they did just change it and say that businesses have to be certified at least 2 years now before accessing the capital. But with the WBE loan program, we're able to offer capital to our women-owned small businesses at a rate up to 3%, meaning that it could be below that if you're certified. Okay, the minimum loan amount is $45,000 and it's up to $500,000. This can be used for real estate as well, as long as that owner occupies at least 51% of that building. Okay, the other one that I say I'm excited about is our Ohio Micro Loan Program. That's for anyone, whether they're WBE certified or MBE certified. And this one is up to $45,000. And again, this loan could actually be as low as 0% interest. If you're MBE businesses, depending upon what the need is, we can get them possibly a 0% interest rate. The other thing I wanted to point out about the WBE loan program is you don't have to be certified. Okay, usually when you're not certified, that's when you get 3%. I know, such a bummer, right? And then the other great thing about these loan programs is the state of Ohio understands that when our minority businesses start up, what are they doing? They're using their personal credit cards, they're maxing out, high debt utilization rates, credit scores are dropping, and then they go try to access capital and they can't. So we do not do credit checks for these loans. We base everything pretty much on the debt to service coverage ratio. So that's the number one thing. We're making sure that they're able to carry this debt. Okay? And our office works with the businesses to determine that first before we put them in front of one of these loan programs. Okay, next slide. All right, so if you all are not familiar with Ohio Buys, definitely check it out. It's our state of Ohio procurement site. What I love most about this site is that once a business is registered, they're able to go to search and put in set aside, and it's going to bring down all the opportunities actually set aside for our certified businesses. Okay, we see so many times where our businesses are not accessing those opportunities. And so we make sure that we're putting this in front of the businesses where they understand that these opportunities are out there. Next slide. We have developed the RFP website. It's a landing page, and on this page, what we do is we list the contract opportunities that we know are available throughout the 8 counties that we serve. We also list on there resource partners that assist with contract procurement, such as Apex. Next slide. And I believe that's the last one. I think that's it, though. That's it. Any questions for me?
First, it's a great presentation. It's wonderful that Vaughn brought you and invited you today.
Well, thank you.
Can you just walk us through a recent experience? Can you tell us about I assume a success or a lesson learned experience?
Sure. So a few of those. One would be, we had a client come to us recently. She was very distraught because her certification was getting ready to expire. She didn't know that it was getting ready to expire, and they had $1 million contract sitting on the table. When I say that she was upset, she was upset. So after getting through the tears, I had her come in the same day. We sat down, we went through everything. I was able to get her application submitted to the state. We were able to get it expedited and get her certified within a week. And of course, they were able to get that contract.
Great.
Shoshana, can you talk just briefly about the difference in when a business gets certified, if it's a normal certification process or an expedited certification?
Great question. All right, so there are 2 ways that a business can get submitted for certification. We have our normal process where it just gets we process their application, we'll pull everything together, and we send it in for processing. And right now, that's taking about 30 days for businesses to get interviewed from the state. But if a business has a contract that is pending, or if a business needs certification for a specific contract opportunity, we're able to do what's called fast track. That can only come through our office. A business can't submit an application and say, I'm interested in having this fast track. It has to come directly through our office, and we're able to submit it and say, hey, move this in a front. We need this person processed right away.
And does that apply to funding as well? If you're trying to apply for a traditional bank loan, can that be fast-tracked?
Well, usually though, if someone comes in and they're looking for funding, I'm usually the one that's handling them to make sure that they get processed right away, make sure that the need is, they're put in front of the right business advisor that's going to address that need right away. Because all of our business advisors have different strengths and they have different areas that they focus on. So if I have a business that need capital right away, then I'll make sure that I meet with them first and then give them to the business advisor that they should be with.
And the last question I have, maybe, I think I might know some of this answer, but maybe for the group and those viewing, can you give us an idea of how many MBEs the Entrepreneurship Center serves maybe on an annual basis, approximately?
So approximately, probably about 2,000. About 2,000 on an annual basis.
That is incredible. Thank you.
Any other questions for our guest?
I thank you all for having me.
Thank you, and I just want to recognize that economic development and growth is in the charter of our community. In fact, it's in the preamble of the charter. It's one of the first things recognized is that Cuyahoga County and this form of government exists to support our business community and support the growth of opportunities. And we recognize that is done through partnership. I think you've heard from Vaughn today and the great programs that he's managing, but I think we've also heard from a community partner. I applaud you in the work that you're doing to advance this mission because I know that it's shared and that we all support our communities to have the opportunities they need to be successful, and I just appreciate that.
Awesome. And one thing for sure is that the support that we get from the county definitely allow us to be able to execute and carry out all of these programs and provide these resources to these MPEs that we serve.
This is how public-private partnerships succeed, so thank you.
Thank you.
Unless there are other questions, I'm going to move to our final point, which is closing remarks. I think I started on with Jill. This time I'll turn to my right. Lenore, anything to share?
Just saying thank you for all the information that's being shared here, and especially when it's a public meeting. And hopefully there's an audience that's also getting that information. And also, I think it's been very informative to have the actual partners come to each of the meetings and do a presentation. So thank you, Vaughn, for that idea and also following through on implementing it.
For myself, I'll just say, one, I was so grateful to hear you talk about the interest in reconsidering or reviewing the scorecard. I would say when that comes out, please work with Chris Murray as well as Dan Humphrey on my team. Dan is the administrator of performance evaluation and innovation. And I think if we're going to look at new measures, we're going to need his early input to make sure that we have access to the data or access to the information to be able to report on it. So, but I appreciate you staying open and allowing those to continue to grow and develop.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Thank you very much, Vaughn, for sharing what you're doing to champion small business and the equity initiatives that our partners are also taking in that regard. It was refreshing to hear and good to hear. No updates except to look out for announcements of when we're going to hold. Do we have a date for the?
June 28th.
June 28th. Can we talk? Critical conversation on celebrating Pride Month. And then the county is also participating in the Pride or?
Yeah, so DHHS is a sponsor, it has a sponsorship for Pride, and we invite anyone in the county to join us as we walk. It is really important for our Department of Children and Family Services to be able to affirm youth in custody that are either in foster care or looking for an adoptive home. So we make a very intentional effort to reach out to the LGBTQ+ community to identify families, individuals that are open to serving someone whose sexual identity is really important to all of us. So we are there doing recruitment of foster and adoptive parents, and then we invite anyone in the county to march with us because this isn't about DHHS or DCFS, it's about all of the county. So you're all invited to that as well.
Yeah, you should have gotten an email to sign up.
Vaughn, closing remarks?
Sure, thank you, David. First, I want to say thank you to our fellows for being here. I actually pulled two of them out of a meeting impromptu to come down and sit with us, so thank them for being here. I thank you very much for that. And thank you, Shoshana, the Urban League, MBAC, for being here. That was a great presentation. I like the updates, and that would actually help us with the Office of Small Business. And then lastly, the Office of Small Business. I couldn't be more excited about that new office and what we're doing there. And I look forward to more great things to come. I'm encouraged by this committee. I think every time I've been here, I get more encouraged by all the great work from the different departments, all the outcomes that I hear, and it seems like we're building on every single meeting that we have and getting stronger and stronger and better. So I'm just looking forward to hearing more and continuing that great work.
Jill?
Yeah, thank you. Really great information from both of you. I think when we do an RFP or we look to contract with people, we work with Lenore and her team for the SBE, MBE, WBE requirements. So it feels like a task, sort of let's get that done so that we can move this forward. And now I feel like I have a much better understanding of what the businesses go through and the resources that are available to them to help get those certifications that end up helping all of us in our community. So thank you for the information and thanks.
Before we close, I'll look to my colleagues. Kelly, Greg, anything from your respective departments to share as well? You're here?
Same answer.
Well, with that said, it is 11:02. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.